Alright guys, welcome to Gusto Reactions once again. Thank you so much for always liking, for sharing, subscribing, doing everything you can to support the movement. We really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yes, today on Gusto Reactions, I've got the one, the only Lala Daddy in the building. And of course, Lala, it is a very critical topic today. Yes. But make I first shake you first.
But we're not going to be direct. So
okay.
If you fall outside the category,
yeah,
and you feel yes, you're part of them. Then
okay.
Part of them.
Okay. So let's go. The industry for a while now have seen a lot of changes. I mean, right from the days of Baba Haruna Ishola, we got the likes of King Sunny Ade, Kollington Ayinla Barrister, and then the likes of Sashina Peters took over, Adewale Ayuba, you know, Junior and Pretty, Zakiaze, Blackie, and the rest of them. Oris Williki, Raskimono. I mean, there's a whole lot. I mean, you know, we did this game, and then the likes of the Remedies came, you know, on board as well. Tony Tetula, you know, and Papa Keke and D1. That was when we had the whole Awilo Logomba thing, you know, reigning in NAIJA. Of course, these guys bettered, you know, stuff to the likes of Tubaba, you know, Two-Face. It was Two-Face at that time, and of course, Plantation Boys, P Square, The Banj, Don Jazzy, who have now dropped the baton for the likes of Wizkid, Davido, and these Davido guys now are dropping for the likes of Joe Boy, Oxlade, Mayor Kun, you know, Rema, and the rest of them. So it's a generational thing. Yeah. But in all of this, there has been one constant thing: the guys who will promote these guys. Now, there's been that talk of gatekeepers. If you are to talk about gatekeepers, who exactly would you call a gatekeeper, especially in the NAIJA entertainment scene, music scene?
So basically, there's gatekeepers in virtually every industry that you can think of,
definitely,
whether music or non-music. So now, for us to now look at who are the gatekeepers, we're not going to be direct, but we'll try out a few categories of the kind of gatekeepers we have in Nigeria and what sort of influence they had.
What does a gatekeeper do?
It's same thing. The way your gateman is, a gatekeeper is someone who has access to push you, right? They represent a sort of platform, and if you can go,
they hold the key,
and if you can go to that platform, it improves. I mean,
your visibility,
your visibility. Your music is heard by a lot of people. The experience is far better than what it used to be. That's what a gatekeeper does in any industry, regardless whether it's music or not. So now, to look at who exactly is the gatekeeper, the people who suffer from the gatekeepers usually are who? The creative themselves, the producers, the singers, even the writers, and all that. Those are the people who
need the help,
or who need the exposure. Yeah, those are the people who suffer from being from the gatekeepers. So now let's go through the process of the process of making the music and promoting it. That will now determine who is a gatekeeper, right? So the first thing is you make your music as an artist. You record the CD or everything, or maybe MP3 version. It's been recorded, right? Whether you are indie or you belong to a label. If your label is big, yes, that means they have the connect down already. Gatekeepers are usually less of a problem for people who are under labels or big labels, because they've sorted it out. They have the structure, they have the plan for everything.
They know them, they've done everything.
They're already feeding gatekeepers steady, no issues. But if you are indie, and maybe let's say for example you don't have stress, you don't have wala. Small things you do, like no issues. But if you are a troublesome person, that's when gatekeepers, they can actually be of they can
be an issue
to you. So let's go through the process. You release your music. From your music, what you need to do with your music to get heard? There are several platforms. You have the TV, you have the radio, you have the blogs, you have online, you have Alaba, you have all those things. Those are the outlets of promoting your music, right? Now, over time, these outlets and their and their influence has dwindled. Some of these platforms and their influence has dwindled over the
years.
So I'm going to take it from the ones who are really, really strong, and I don't think they will ever go down.
Okay, let's talk about the guys that were there before that you think have dwindled.
Okay, yes. Let's say in the 90s.
In the 90s, yes.
The big labels. I mean, there was the kind of labels there were back then. It was limited.
Premier Music.
Yes, it was limited. The kind of labels that we had back then were limited. It's not everyone that would get signed. For you to get signed to Premier Music and these other guys, that's when you have your big break. In terms of music, that's when you have a big break. So at that point, they represented the gatekeeper to actually. They had the master key of promoting the music in that era. They had the master key of promoting the music. Also the means and everything. They've settled everything. They have the means of promoting. If you move on to the 2000s, when the likes of Alaba came into play. Alaba was very huge back then. And Alaba was responsible for promoting music in the inner creeks, like in the most unseen places.
Streets.
In the streets, people who just love music and want compilations. And most of these compilations, as illegal as they look, as they sing,
Alaba.
It was very influential in a lot of artists blowing in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So Alaba guys
were gatekeepers at that time.
Gatekeepers at a period of time. Like
they still relevant?
Of course they're still relevant, but their influence has dwindled. It's not people in the age of technology. Now we know that yes, there are many ways that you can actually blow, not by Alaba. Alaba makes you blow in the street, but even right now, it's not even because digitally now it is more easier to consume music than buying a CD or of a mix and everything. Like digitally, it's easier to consume music.
Okay.
That there's been advancement in that aspect.
Yeah.
So Alaba at one point they were like the biggest gatekeepers in this country. In this industry. So then we move on to the age of technology.
Yeah.
There came internet, and there came the means of sharing music on the internet.
The radio got bigger.
Radio has always got bigger. Those ones are standard; they never change. So, for example, okay, let's just break that. In Alaba now, the main gatekeepers are not just the Alaba as a whole. It's the top marketers in Alaba. There's a few of them, and if you are not able to at least get the few of them to be on par with you, there's a very high chance that your project that you're trying to go to Alaba would fail. Yeah. So that's out of the way. Then technology came up about internet, and then the thing called blogs or websites decided to pop up, and it became a means of sharing music. And blogs at a point did have a lot of influence on what kind of music was heard. I'm not going to mention names of blogs because unfortunately for me, I was part of that movement.
You are still a part of.
Unfortunately for Sheyi, he's also a part of that movement. Like we have years of experience in that industry, me and Sheyi combined. And at the point, being one of the editors of these blogs, Sheyi represented a gatekeeper. Sheyi represented a gatekeeper of the music industry.
A gatekeeper that does good things.
At a point represented, but you know, as it is right now, the influence of blogs has reduced. I wouldn't say totally reduced, but the influence of blogs had reduced. Now you can go through blogs. The fan base of blogs, because there's so many blogs right now. Fan base of blogs has divided over several websites. Yeah. So it now becomes a thing of, you want to get on all these websites, are you going to pay so much money to be on all this just to get these people who are interested in music? And also the rise of digital streaming in Nigeria has actually reduced the influence that blogs have in terms of music in this industry. So that, taking that away, blogs at the point in Nigeria, yes, they were called, they can be referred to as gatekeepers in the industry.
Go to the guys who are like very, very influential at this moment. The gatekeepers of the gatekeepers, the guys who are really, really huge on in the industry right now. Those who we can say yes, they are the realest in terms of gatekeeping.
Okay, just before I continue, I think I missed out the blogs. Now in terms of the fan base right now, the only influence they wield on the industry right now is being an authority in terms of
OG.
No,
basically
an authority in terms of what is big and what isn't. Like for example, that's where their authority, that's where their influence
reviews and all of that.
Yes, reviews, because several platforms are regarded as one of the best or one of the most authoritative when it comes to saying what's good and what's not. So that's the sort of influence they have
right now.
Unlike before, where they were a channel to millions of fans. Yeah, that was what it was. So now they're the ones who are OGs, who have been there for years and will still be there for years to come. They are the TV stations, right? Not your regular TV stations. They are the music TV stations. Whatever names come into your head, yes, they are gatekeepers. They, as a body, are gatekeepers. But the people who who have influence in those stations. For example, the VJs, the guys who are in the marketing department. You know that person, you will go there and say
the schedulers.
The schedulers.
Librarian at radio stations.
Yes. No, we'll go to the radio stations.
Okay.
Just the TV guys.
Yeah.
The TV stations, any music TV station you can think of right now, a lot of people watch them on a daily basis.
They have the
access
gatekeepers
to millions of people who watch TV. They can be termed as gatekeepers in this industry. Then we're going to move on to the radio. Radio has been invented since time immemorial, since a long time, and they are heard by millions of people. And imagine there are so many radio stations in Lagos alone, over 20 of them in Lagos alone. So the biggest of the biggest radio stations have people in strategic places. The OAPs, yes, they can decide to C-block you, if you understand what I mean. They can decide to C-block you and say, okay, I'll give you an example in the TV station. When a music TV station acted as a gatekeeper to P Square. I don't know if you guys remember. There was an issue, and the general manager of that TV station expressly came out and said, we are never going to play a P Square video on this station again. That act alone can be termed as gatekeeping. Because imagine if those guys were the only TV station who
at that time.
Luckily for P Square, there are several other music TV stations, but those guys were still big. They are still big TV stations, but they acted as a gatekeeper. That particular general manager acted as in the capacity of a gatekeeper in that particular incident. So that's what the power. Imagine if that was the only outlet to air your music. But I could as well say everyone who listened or watched that TV station at that period of time would not have seen anything from P Square. That means you wouldn't know that there is a P Square that released a music video anytime, because they stopped airing it. So that happened. So radio stations, like we said, the biggest of the biggest radio stations, the OAPs who are in charge of drive time commutes, that's in the evening,
morning, afternoon.
In the mornings, they control the music they want to hear. So if you have any issues with any of those OAPs, personally, you're on your own. You are very much on your own. They will not play your song, and if they don't play your song, you can't reach their audience, and their audience ranges into millions. So be on your good behavior and don't offend any OAP. Also, the DJs come and do mixes towards the end of the day at night. They run their mixes and everything. Yes, the DJs have the potential and the ability to be a gatekeeper in the radio. I'm talking about the DJs in the radio stations now. We're going to come to DJs outside the radio stations. So, time immemorials, those are the ones who have been from time immemorial, even till today till tomorrow. They are going to be serious gatekeepers in the industry because they reach millions of people on a daily basis. Now we're going to go to the new ones, the ones who have popped up. Yeah. I'm going to start with advertising agencies.
Okay.
Now, you see,
how does it affect artists?
It affects artists because a lot of artists now they chase the vanity of billboards, adverts. That's what they chase right now. So now everybody wants to get a billboard advert.
What do you think is vanity if they actually reach out to millions? Because if that is like a gateway, a pathway, and you have put it here.
Right now is a sign of flex, right? It doesn't actually
but it does do the work.
No, because you can't measure it.
Bro, if a billboard is on Lekki toll gate you can't tell me that I can't measure it.
No, you can't measure the impact on your music. You can only see that yes, it's a flex. I'm on Billboard. I can brag about it.
No, I think the metrics. I think your angle is defaulted.
No, I'm going to tell you for a fact.
Okay. Can
you tell me an upcoming artist who puts his Billboard up there and his face is there, or listen to my music, blah, 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 blah. Can you tell me for a fact that you can actually tell how many streams you was able to get from that Billboard?
No,
you can't. That's what I mean by you can't measure the effect of those kind of promotion. But because it is something that is in town, like people love it. People think people enjoy the fact that I'm on Billboard, whether they pay for it or you don't pay for it. That you see that it's there. That means I have arrived. If that kind of thing is for you and you want to be on Billboard and somebody is blocking you, that means the advertising agency is acting as a gatekeeper, especially the ones at Lekki toll gate, because millions in a month, millions of cars pass that toll gate, or the ones close to the toll gate. All those people there, they are gatekeepers. Now they have a lot of influence because a lot of artists want that Billboard that they see there. That's one. Also, the guys, our people on social media, the influencers. The influencers, they can decide to run a campaign to blackmail you or to say your song is whack. They can also decide to say your song is the best thing they've ever seen, whether it is whack or not. Yeah. So those guys have influence over thousands of people on Instagram, on Facebook,
on Twitter.
If they come against you and say,
TikTok, everywhere.
If they come against you and say this song is the wackest thing I've ever had, because these guys have WhatsApp group. Don't offend them, because if you offend them, they can decide to run that campaign for free and say, Russia, some artists think bad publicity is still good publicity, but if you offend them and they tell you, they can shape the minds of people. I'm going to say for a fact here now, Burna Boy concert, I think his first headline concert in Nigeria, there was a lot of influencing work that had to be done during that time to make sure people actually purchase tickets to come and see Burna Boy, and they were able to sell out. That's the work of influencers. Some now you can argue and say some of these guys are not actually influencers. They are just which one they just propagate message. They pass on message because of their huge followers. Yes, but yes, they do have their influence when it comes to
as long as they use their platform to get people to do. There's a call to action from them, and people do that thing. Then they're influencers.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on to the ones. I think these guys have also been. They've been around for a long time. The show promoters. Now, show promoters, you may not know about them, you may not see them every time, but the artists themselves know about them. They have to be in their good books, because show promoters determine who's coming to their show.
And who's getting the money, who's getting the bag.
Getting the money, and who is coming to come and perform for free. Or who is performing at the biggest stage at the end of the year. The show promoters are gatekeepers in that regard. So if you're an upcoming artist and maybe you badmouth some when it comes to December, they're having a big show that almost all the big stars are there and the crowd is running into tens of thousands or more. You have to keep yourself cool, because those guys can act as gatekeepers if they want. They can decide to block you and say, you are not performing on these shows. And it's not one show they do in that December period. No, they do more than one shows. They can handle more than one shows for different companies. Yeah, so you have to be careful. If you're an artist, do not get in the bad books of show promoters. They can be gatekeepers in the industry.
So, talking about this particular gatekeepers and the rest of them, how important are these guys to the success of an artist, an emerging artist, for example?
Well, they're very important. When Tiwa Savage was singing, "Who got the keys to the city?" But them get the keys to the city. These guys are very much important. They hold in different sectors of the music industry. They are the go-to guys if you want to have all the support to reach the audience. They have access to many audience, and they can easily flip on the switch.
And put it off
as they please. So yes, gatekeepers are important in the industry. They are important people. I'm not saying maybe their role may not necessarily be important, but they are important people in the industry.
I think you still have some on your
so I have
on your list.
Like this now are the new generation
gatekeepers
because the times it changes a bit who is the medium of how people listen to music. Now artist managers, they can be, in some instances, they can be gatekeepers.
Nobody must manage that artist. It's stubborn.
or they can even block other creatives from collaborating with the person they manage. They can act a role as a gatekeeper. A&Rs who are these A&Rs are the ones who actually are involved in scouting for new talents and everything, new sort of music for labels to work with. And if you're an A&R that works for a big label or that you're connected to a big label, you can decide to collaborate. Even if another A&R comes and say, you're gonna be like, I know this boy now, he's an serious boy now. This boy is
that's true. I can imagine.
So A&Rs can play the role of a gatekeeper in the industry. And finally, this is the streaming age, and this is the playlisting age. Playlist editors, they can play the role of gatekeepers in the industry. I'm going to give an example. The biggest playlist on Apple Music, NAIJA Hits or Afrobeat Hits, those are the biggest playlists with thousands of followers. If you get a song on there, you generate thousands of streams on there. So if the editor of that playlist does not like your song, it doesn't matter if any other person likes your song. If the editor doesn't like your song, it's not making it on there. The only way you're even making playlists is two options. The guy likes your song and feel, oh, this is a feature hit, he puts it on there. Or you have so much fans that the analytics of your song and the analytics of your song, analytics is well justified. They can see that this song is picking up. Why don't we have it on? That's the only two ways you can get on this playlist. So the editor one, if for example you don't root to the guy before, although it's hard for you to even see the guy, but maybe you don't go on seminar and you don't bash the guy and don't see from
don't spot your name, say
you be artist that be they're not gonna put your song for playlist too. So playlist editors can be gatekeepers, but the way it works is usually on all these big companies is playlist there's a bunch of editors. It's not usually one person, so they work as a team. So if you this one, make sure you do this the rest of them.
Okay, so before I ask you, there's this other question that's been running through my mind. Before I ask you that, I'm gonna say this. I mean, playlist editors, the TV guys and everything. The likes of Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, and Tiwa Savage and the rest of them. Now, can we say that they went through the same gatekeepers? How do you think they survived the gatekeepers of this industry? Okay,
I'll use Wizkid as an example. Coming into the game, it wasn't like I'm getting signed to Banky. It wasn't like Banky knew the ins and outs of the industry. Banky had to rely on people who knew the ins and outs of the industry. And you as a music person, you know how these things work. For you to pave the way for your guys, your underlings that are under you, you need to have done the work. The people, I'm not necessarily saying you have to bribe or settle them. Like, they have to be comfortable with you. You have to appease them. The way you appease
relationships, basically.
Yes, before you tease and everything, you have to appease these guys. They have to like you. You either make them your friend or you make them your enemy. And ways of making them your friend is being nice to them. Giving them gifts. Not necessarily paying them money to pay, but they have to be your friend. They have to be cool with you. So if you're cool with gatekeepers, you have no issues. They are ready to support you as long as you are doing music. Wizkid, Davido, even right now, there's literally no gatekeeper in the industry that can keep these guys, because these guys have amassed so much fans that you can't look away. You can only try, maybe put a little dent with your own platform, with your own little platform. But
it doesn't stop the shine.
Ultimately,
it does not stop the shine.
I'm going to give another example. There are songs that are released on Apple Music and Spotify, but you see that the song on Apple Music gets so much support. They can make playlist covers and everything and blah blah blah. That means Apple guys, they're messing with the guy heavy. And on the other side, you go on Spotify, the song doesn't make playlist covers. Even on the official playlist, it's not right at the top, it's right in the middle or right at the bottom, and it's not getting that much support. But if you now compare the streams that these two songs get on these platforms, you see that yes, that means the gatekeepers of Apple Music, they fuck with this guy heavy. The ones on Spotify, they don't even mess with the guy at all. They're not going to support him. And you now see the difference in the amount of streams that they gather. So yes, gatekeepers are really important in pushing your music and reaching the right audience. If they don't back you heavy, you don't get results. So they back this heavy on Apple Music. So now answering the question of can you bypass them? Yes. Of course, if they can't completely block you out right now, because there are different platforms with different set of people. They're usually rivals. So you must have the most unlucky head for you to piss off someone at Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Boomplay. If you do that one, you are not going anywhere with your music. Nobody's going to hear it. You're not going to make any money. So that's how it works. They can't collectively come and say they want to. The only people who can do that and have done it in the past severally in Nigeria are the DJs in Nigeria. They've come out and said the Nigerian DJ Association are not going to play a so song with denounced blah 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 because he disrespected.
I mean, the digital guy don't have like an association or something. They don't have
an association, so you can decide, oh, I want to mess with these guys heavy. I don't want to mess with them. It will only dent your bag in that aspect of, for example, Spotify or Apple Music.
Now, talking about gatekeepers, and can we confidently say the gatekeepers are the organization or the people that work with that organization at that time? Also, another question is, when someone leaves a particular organization and an entity and moves on, does he still become a gatekeeper, or it becomes irrelevant?
Okay, fine. For a gatekeeper to be relevant, he must provide value. Right? He must also have access to an audience. Like, he must control the access to an audience. So now, the platform itself, yes, there are gatekeepers. There can be more than one gatekeepers in a platform. For example, the radio, the OAP, the DJ, the guys in the marketing department, they're all part of it. So they represent that company at that period. Even if they go and someone else's comes, the same thing will still happen.
So it's more of the company organization.
It's more of the times we're in. It's more of what the industry has become. You need the access is the same. Musicians will always come, and they need your audience, so they can decide to play or not play your music.
No. What I'm trying to say is, what makes someone a gatekeeper? Let's say I, for one, now I work at a radio station today.
The value of the audience.
Now, I move my bags and baggages and I moved into insurance. Do I still matter to that emerging artist because I'd worked at Sound City before?
No, because
or I'd worked at Beat FM before.
At that moment, you have moved away from music. You are no longer a gatekeeper because there's no value that you create. There's no access to an audience. The only audience you might now have maybe be your social media following.
Okay.
But as long as you have the audience, don't forget, belongs to the radio station, not to the individual.
Exactly.
The individual gatekeepers are the ones who have, for example, music commentators or influencers who have thousands or millions of followers. That's their audience. If you want to, for example, a Tunde Ednut, I didn't want to mention his name right now, but a Tunde Ednut can act the role of a gatekeeper because he has an audience of a lot of followers. It doesn't necessarily mean he's gatekeeping his own audience. It doesn't necessarily mean he's the most influential in the music industry when it comes to blowing up music online, but he just has his audience and he can be a gatekeeper to that audience.
So here's the thing. Here's another question. Talking about gatekeepers right now. I mean, this topic is quite elaborate and it's quite a thing. Now, talking about gatekeepers, can the worth of a gatekeeper, how does the worth of a gatekeeper increase or decrease?
Okay, it's still the same answers. It increases with the sort of value that he creates. Tunde Ednut, I'm going to keep on using him as an example. The value that he creates with his platform, that is his worth. The increase of the followers he gets every day, that is his worth. That is why to put up a sponsored post on Tunde Ednut would run into 6 figures today. It used to be 5 figures, but now it's 6 figures today to put a sponsored content. So it's the value that you create and the amount of audience that you have that determines your worth. If you're, for example, now the kind of value Linda Ikeji used to have before is not what she has right now. The follower that she used to have before, the active follower she has before is not what she has. That means her value has decreased as someone who is influential or that has gatekeeping capabilities in the music industry. So before, even in the gossip industry, the value has decreased significantly.
Now, talking of relationship and gatekeepers and everything, a lot of people feel you need to be loyal to these guys. Now, who should be loyal to who? The gatekeepers loyal to the people who need them, or the people who need them loyal to the gatekeepers? Because a classic scenario is Linda Ikeji, when as a gatekeeper of this industry, when she was popping, you get a lot of people were loyal to her.
Is
Now,
followers or the
well, not her followers, the people who need her help were more like Linda. But I think right now they've removed their hands, from the break and everything. Like, Linda, you can, because you are not popping anymore.
The shift.
There's a shift.
Came from the times. The time past where our followers, our active followers were reducing by the day. You could tell because of the sort of engagement our post gets, or even on Instagram. You could tell, and then one of the reasons that happened is the issues she had when her account was blocked, website, and then she went the route of trying to create a social media platform.
And the TV and all of
with that move, she completely divided the fan base. The fan base used to be concentrated on the blog, on Instagram. Before she started to now.
In fact, before she even switched Instagram, it was actually a long time.
It was a blog.
It was more of like a blog, exactly.
Yeah. So everybody, even while I was working as a IT guy, maybe a few years ago, I used to blog Linda AKG site because all the staffs where I used to work, would be on there.
In
the morning, I'll just go to the server and just block that link.
Everybody always on Linda AKG.
Do their work.
So for the gatekeepers, for the guys who need the gatekeepers, what exactly is the way for? What should be the ideal relationship between the gatekeepers and the people who need them before?
The ideal relationship, let them be your friends, because gatekeepers will always exist in the industry. There's nothing you can do about it. And I think you also asked me one time that is it possible to bypass gatekeepers? Of course it's possible. I'll give a few examples. The first example I'll give, although I won't say it from a naive point of view, I would say Omale bypassed a lot of gatekeepers.
Did he bypass the playlisting gatekeepers?
I think so, yes. I think he did, because the sort of promo they were able to run for him, they were able to get enough streams which were organic.
Not based on playlisting.
They were able to get enough organic streams, but they did spend a lot of money on promoting. So that's another way. You spend so much money, right? You bypass these guys. And the way the radio is jamming Omale, or they were jamming Omale the whole of this year, they didn't actually, I don't think they actually paid a lot of these radio stations. It's because they promoted so much that they had an organic following that was continuously streaming. It was #1 on charts continuously. And obviously, as a radio, as an OAP, or as a DJ, you cannot be leaving a song that is topping charts consistently.
People are playing and everything.
That's what these guys, TV guys, for example, your video, they usually check the reaction your video is getting, the request is getting on social media. They also check your YouTube streams. How is it progressing? Is it just stagnant? Are people actually watching? Because they want to feed people more of what they're watching online and what they're talking about online. So that's how it works. You can bypass gatekeepers, but it's always a longer journey. You have to more or less prove yourself to these guys who don't know nothing about you. The quickest way is just make them be your friends, and yes, they'll support you. Okay,
so guys, you've heard it all from the one, the only. Someone said Lala has been delivering wisdom from 1900. Lala, thank you so much for coming. But before you go, once again, before you go, can a gatekeeper guarantee the blowing of an artist?
Not one particular gatekeeper.
Can gatekeepers?
Yes, of course. The best you can do, right?
So if a gatekeeper puts his hand, if gatekeepers put their hand on one particular artist, that person is sure to blow?
Of course. Now there are several artists that get support from several sectors of the industry, of the music industry. TV, if you're able to get support from TV,
from radio,
even shows that you don't even deserve to be there, and you are called to perform to the audience, that's a win for you already. DJs, they mess with you heavy and they play your song. That's it. You're good and set to go. You're good. That means your
playlist guys also consider you as.
And they play you heavy. They rotate you heavy in front of people. You know how funny it is when you listen to music that you on the normal day you figure out is not sweet, but when you are being fed the same thing over and over again, there's no way you will not like that music. There's no way you will not like it. There's no way you will not sing it even while you are sleeping. So that's another thing.
Okay.
So gatekeepers can decide
which artist will blow.
Yes, they're instrumental in it, but then I don't think they really work together in most cases.
Are the award organizers gatekeepers?
Award organizers, Now you have to look at the value. What value does award organizers?
It increases an artist rating.
It increases the artist rating.
Makes them get more shows, gives them the exposure and all of those things.
The only thing it does for artists, nomination and all those things, is from thinking digital wise, is references online to achievements. Like for example, you want to have your Wikipedia page.
I've seen artists say, "Oh, I got this award. My price has increased."
It depends on the award. Not be any awards.
Well, yeah, but there's like some awards actually.
But most of these things are actually
when you say
categories. Anyway.
When you say it depends on the award, for an emerging artist who wins an Afrima, his price will change.
But it won't. His price will not change because
it will change.
Whether if he doesn't deserve that award and he wins it, it only gives the award body less credibility.
No. If he deserves it.
If he deserves
yes.
All fine and good now. But
that's what I'm saying. Now
they are not acting the role as a gatekeeper. I don't think so. Because I don't feel them winning that award or Afrima increases the streaming numbers of any
for Headies. Now what I'm saying, you're focusing on streaming numbers. I'm focusing on if they get an award.
Yeah.
People get to it increases their stock rises in a way.
It depends on the award.
Lala would not listen.
It depends on the award. I'm not going to mention awards, but there are several shady awards out right there.
Okay.
You see sectional awards that are only for this part of the country. There are so many shady. Like people actually pay.
Yeah.
No, this is real facts. People pay to get nominated or to even win these awards. So we shouldn't even think of them as they're not gatekeepers because they don't have any value. They don't have only the top.
People pay radios as well. People pay TVs.
Yes.
So Lala, what are you saying?
No, paying radios, paying TVs is what appeasing, making the gatekeeper your what friends. You are buying his friendship.
You are buying the friendship of the what guys do by paying them.
There is more value in TV and radio.
You don't think
than that your award.
You don't think if an artist win an award, the guys on the radio will say, for the guy to win the award, then is
which award? Nobody regards the award. That's what I'm saying. It depends on the award.
Okay.
It cannot be the most popular award. If it's all these segmented awards, I'm sorry to say, guys, paying for those kind of awards, it will only help you with references online when you want to do Wikipedia.
Lala, don't come again. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for always liking, for sharing, subscribing, for telling your friends about Gusto TV. Yes, the gatekeepers. Who exactly are they?
Everything we've said,
everything that we've said so far,
into any of those categories, that means yes, at one point.
To whom the shoe fits be, just wear it like that. I beg, just wear. And of course, if you think that we've missed out anyone at all, any category, any sector, let us know on the show by commenting down below. Yes, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Gusto Reactions right here has been super amazing. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Like Allah will do.